DAP has reiterated its call for an RCI into allegations against the MACC. Meanwhile, the MACC said the allegations were baseless and are part of a smear campaign intended to undermine its reputation. Stay tuned for this and more on KiniNews. DAP has doubled down on its demand for a Royal Commission of Inquiry into claims against the MACC. Gobind Singh Deo said it needs to be addressed as the allegations have generated significant interest both here and internationally.
DAP has doubled down on its demand for a Royal Commission of Inquiry. This follows the MACC's statement denying the existence of a corporate mafia scheme allegedly linked to the Commission. The MACC had said the allegations were baseless and described them as a smear campaign intended to tarnish the Commission's reputation. In response, DAP chairperson Gobind Singh Deo said the Commission is entitled to deny the claims but stressed that a mere denial on their part alone is insufficient. He said it is a fundamental principle of justice that no one should be a judge in their own case. Gobind added that when the integrity of our top anti-corruption agency is questioned, a self-issued clearance alone is insufficient, doing little to restore public and investor confidence. He cited DAP's Secretary General Anthony Loke's stance that the party would press for the RCI at Friday's cabinet meeting and reiterated the need for an impartial and transparent inquiry. He said there is sufficient basis for an inquiry to commence and the best option would be for an RCI to be formed, as it would be equipped with the necessary statutory powers to conduct a proper and meaningful inquiry into the matter. He added that whether the allegations are true or not and what is to be done thereafter is a matter for the RCI to decide. Gobind stressed that it is not about looking for fault or blame on anyone but rather to reaffirm that the MACC remains beyond suspicion and free from any allegations affecting its integrity or credibility.
Meanwhile, PKR's youth chief said that demands for an RCI should be based on strong and convincing evidence instead of hearsay or assumptions.
PKR Youth Chief Kamil Abdul Munim said that calls for a Royal Commission of Inquiry into the alleged corporate mafia scheme involving the MACC must be grounded in solid, compelling evidence, not mere hearsay or insinuations. He emphasized that while he respects proposals to establish an RCI and agrees that the truth should be uncovered through a transparent, legally grounded process, such demands cannot rely solely on assumptions or innuendo. Any call for an RCI must be supported by strong and convincing evidence, he said, when asked whether he would back such an inquiry. In a statement to Malaysia Kini, he noted that similar pressures had arisen in the past, such as during the appointment of the Chief Justice, which he claimed ultimately proved unfounded. He stressed that this cycle of preemptive politics must end and that due processes, whether investigations, inquiries, or special committees, should be allowed to run their course. This is as these mechanisms are designed to gather evidence comprehensively before considering larger steps, such as an RCI. Kamil also highlighted that the decision to hold an inquiry was made quickly, only one day after the Bloomberg report was published. According to Kamil, the main purpose of an RCI must be to ensure that justice is served based on facts, not perceptions. He said if the evidence presented later demonstrates a genuine need for an RCI, then such a decision should be made responsibly and with integrity. From now on, you can also listen to KiniNews on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Scan the QR code on the screen to follow us.
While we are on the topic of the claims, the MACC has issued a second denial over the matter.
The MACC has denied the existence of any corporate mafia allegedly linked to it. In a statement last night, it said the accusations are part of a smear campaign to undermine its reputation. It stated that the MACC views the accusations as an attempt to discredit the Commission's investigations and enforcement actions within the corporate sector, especially against parties affected by ongoing legal proceedings. It said it considers the claims a baseless recycled issue, deliberately revived to tarnish the image and reputation of the Commission. It added that the allegations cited in a recent Bloomberg report were believed to have stemmed from an anonymous blog with no identifiable owner, author, or accountable source. The MACC said it views the dissemination of such false accusations with utmost seriousness, particularly when they may undermine public confidence in lawful enforcement actions. It noted that the matter is under police investigation and the Commission would extend full cooperation to ensure the facts and truth are established in accordance with the law. The Commission also also urged anyone with credible information or evidence relating to corruption or misconduct to lodge an official report with the relevant authorities. It stressed that it remains committed to carrying out its mandate to combat corruption without fear or favor and will not be deterred by attempts to undermine its integrity or disrupt its role and functions. The statement came amid escalating calls for a probe into allegations that its officers are entangled in a corporate mafia scheme.
A temple in Rawang was demolished early this morning. This was after the temple committee removed and relocated the deities and other items at the temple.
A Hindu temple in Rawang was demolished early this morning, several hours after its committee relocated its deities. The demolition came following an agreement reached with landowner Yayasan Kubra and the authorities. According to the foundation representatives, the temple committee had removed the deities and other items just before their 14-day agreed deadline expired at midnight. Yayasan Kubra activist Arif Omar told Malaysia Kini that a group of volunteers later arrived at around 3 a.m. and started demolition works under the monitoring of police officers.
Saya dimaklumkan tiada sebarang provokasi yang berlaku kerana pihak kuil pun telah mengalihkan segala berhala-berhala yang mereka gunakan dan telah dialihkan pada malam tadi juga. Saya difahamkan mereka alihkan sebelum jam 12:30 malam.
He added that this showed the temple committee had honored its promise to vacate the land within 14 days, and he thanked them for keeping their word. The temple in Rawang Perdana became a subject of controversy recently after activist Tamim Dahri began demolishing it 2 weeks ago. According to the humanitarian NGO, they had sought Tamim's assistance to clear the illegal structure to make way for the construction of a housing project for poor people on the plot.
If you like the stories we produce, consider supporting us by subscribing to Malaysia Kini. Click the link in the description below or scan the QR code on your screen to subscribe.
BN Secretary General Zamri Abdul Kadir revealed today that the coalition has not been approached by any recently sacked Bersatu MPs who were once UMNO members to potentially return to the party.
BN Secretary General Zamri Abdul Kadir told reporters in Parliament today that BN and UMNO will not interfere with the sacking of Bersatu MPs. This includes the sacking of Larut MP Hamzah Zainuddin, the former Bersatu Deputy President who remains the parliamentary opposition leader. Zamri, who is also an UMNO Supreme Council member, said as for whether any meetings have taken place, there has been none so far and perhaps discussions are still happening at their level. He added that at the BN level, they do not want to interfere in their affairs. He said they are currently going through internal turmoil, so let them resolve their issues first. Zamri said this when asked if Hamzah and 18 other lawmakers aligned with him, several of whom were previously in UMNO, had responded to the Rumah Bangsa vision of UMNO President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi to reunite former party members and leaders. He said BN would not want to be the ones initiating that and their matters should remain their own for now. He added that they should be allowed to settle their problems first and that they would, of course, have their own plans.
Several former prime ministers could serve as PM again under the proposed term limit law. This includes Najib Abdul Razak. Here's more on that.
The proposed term limit law could allow Najib Abdul Razak to return as Prime Minister. However, if this happens, his tenure will be limited to just 1 year. Under the proposed constitutional amendment tabled on Monday, which the government wants to impose retroactively, a Prime Minister can serve for a maximum of 10 years, continuously or otherwise. This does not include the time that a person serves as a caretaker Prime Minister after Parliament is dissolved. In Najib's case, he was sworn in on April 3, 2009 and was the Prime Minister for 8 years, 11 months. This means that if elected back to Parliament in the future as part of a ruling coalition, he could be Prime Minister for another 1 year and 29 days. However, Najib is in prison for the SRC international case and has been sentenced to another 15 years in jail for the 1MDB corruption case. Ex-convicts are barred from contesting in elections for 5 years from the day their sentence ends, meaning the possibility of him returning as Prime Minister is low. Besides Najib, other former premiers ministers who will still be eligible to serve as Prime Minister if the term limits are enacted include Muhyiddin Yassin and Ismail Sabri Yaakob. Muhyiddin would be eligible to serve another 8 years, 6 months and 15 days as Prime Minister. Meanwhile, Ismail Sabri, who served for 415 days, will be able to take up the position for another 8 years and 11 months. As for Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, he has served for just over 3 years and 3 months today, meaning he can hold the position for another 7 years and 9 months.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, X, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'm John. Thanks for watching.